This is what happens when you decide to play in your cold open 15 seconds before the show starts. We're going to talk about Utah's defense matching up with ASU's offense, and we're going to do it with a big, fat smile on our faces. And we're going to talk about all that in 30 seconds.
Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, known around the world as the Big Kahuna. This man to my right, the one and the only hall monitor. And then we've got Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Guys, do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We got BC in the chat. We got Danny in the chat. Everybody here, say what's up and buckle up because we got a lot to get into today in terms of that Arizona State offense going up against that Utah defense. Erik, before we get started, did you have something to say?
Over under 3.5. How many people in your entire life have non-ironically called you the Big Kahuna?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Yeah. Under. I'm hearing a big fat under.
3.5 is what you set the bar at?
Yeah, over unironic, like not like oh that's so funny. He's the Big Kahuna, but like, hey, what's up, Big Kahuna? Like, it's got to be less than 3.
I mean, you don't know me.
I know you pretty well.
I mean,
I know you pretty well.
I would say a good chunk of society
has called you Big Kahuna.
Yeah. I show up to restaurants. They're like, oh, what's up? Big Kahuna's here.
That's a load of Big Kahuna.
BK's here. That's me.
You're BK?
BK.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what they call me.
Sure.
Man, I don't know what to tell you. It
sure.
is what it is. You could be the Lil Kahuna if you want.
Wouldn't that be ironic? I guess today's opposite day, huh?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, Erik, before we get into this actual matchup between that Arizona State offense and this Utah defense, I think that Arizona State is in a unique position.
Why?
Because up to this point in the season, I feel like we have been talking about certain games for Arizona State as must-wins, as opportunities to prove themselves really amongst the Big 12. But I don't think Arizona State's in that position right now. I don't think this is a must-win game for Arizona State. I think it's obviously a game that you would love to come out on top. You would love to win this game, advance to 5-1 on the season through 6 games. You would get a number next to your name, and you would set yourself up really, really nicely to be in contention for obviously a postseason bowl game and then long-term, continuing to fight for stuff going down in the Big 12. But I think the roles have reversed here. I think this is a must-win game for Kyle Whittingham in Utah.
Especially coming off of a loss to Arizona. Yeah, for the first time this season, Arizona State is not the team with the most to lose in each game.
Agreed.
In Wyoming, you come in, it's the start of a new era. You are favored to win that game. Like, you're supposed to win that game. You go out and you dominate. Week 2, your first time playing an SEC team or your first time getting a win, but again, you're favored, you're at home, you just won week 1. Now it's, the pressure's on you to make sure it's real.
Yeah.
Then you're 2-0 and you go on the road and you said, this is the real test here. Texas State's a good team. And if you lose, you're fraud. If you win, it's what's expected. And then you win. Texas Tech is an interesting conversation. I think that's the closest one so far. And then there's Kansas, where you're coming off of a bye week and a loss, and everybody's like, are you for real? Yeah. Are you actually that good? Are you somebody who could just, skate through non-con play, and then once you get to the Big 12, you crumble, and you go out there and you take care of business?
Yeah.
So now you go up against a Utah team who's ranked, who
hasn't really played anybody.
Hasn't played anybody besides Arizona, and when they did, they didn't have their starting quarterback, and quite frankly, they should have won that game.
And Arizona, let's be real, is not. And Oklahoma State too is at this point in the season, we can stop, I think, talking about Oklahoma State and the Arizona Wildcats as teams that are
as contenders,
as in this conference at least.
No, I agree. And you still lost to them though, and then you're now coming off of a bye where you have time to prepare. I believe Cam Rising's playing. You believe the opposite. I think either way, they're going to come out really trying to make a statement and prove a point
because they have to.
Because they have to in order to be in a position to even win the Big 12 as well. You don't want to have 2 Big 12 losses.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, and Kyle Whittingham said at his press conference on Monday that like the teams that already have 3 losses, you're out.
Yeah, you're done.
You don't really have a chance to do anything in this conference long term, at least this season, in terms of a Big 12 title game and even a CFP. Even the teams with 2 losses at this point are going to be fighting and battling the entire rest of the way to try and get to that point. Teams obviously with 1 loss and no losses are really in the driver's seat. So both Arizona State and Utah sit with 1 loss apiece in conference play. The team that drops will drop to 4-2.
Yep.
Utah, I don't think people expect to be 4-2 at this point in the season. And for the opposite reason of Arizona State, right? Nobody expects Arizona State to be 4-2 at this point in the season. And obviously, like I said, you want to win this football game. But if you're Arizona State, the pressure is not on you. The pressure is all on Utah in this one.
Well, the pressure is not on ASU, but there is a lot on the line for them because you're talking about a ranked football team in Arizona State University if they beat Utah in any way, shape, or form on Friday. If they walk away with a 1-point win, with a 20-point win, an overtime win,
you should be ranked. Yes.
You not should be 5-1 with a win over number 16 Utah. If you're not ranked, we're gonna have to talk to somebody. Okay, we will, because that's what's on the line for ASU here. What's on the line is you cementing yourself as an absolute legitimate threat in the Big 12. And you know what's crazy? You think back to last year, the Utah ASU game, and how awful all of that was. If I told you going into the Utah ASU matchup this year that the ESPN matchup predictor only had it at 51.1% Utah, 48.9% ASU, that would be a really hard thing to believe in the moment.
Yeah.
Because Utah is expected to be really good, and ASU was not expected to be 4-1 through 5 weeks of play, 6 weeks including your bye. So what's on the line for ASU is you are then tied and above Utah because of the tiebreaker in the Big 12 standings, right? Oh no, you'd be ahead of them because you'd be 5-1, they'd be 4-2, so you'd be ahead of them. Like, that is such a statement for ASU. And a loss is not debilitating, and like you said, a loss, it's not as pressurized as it has been the first couple of weeks. But a win this is the most important win. Out of all the games you've played, this is the win that brings you the most if you actually get it. So I see what you're saying, but I counter, just to play devil's advocate, with what's on the line if you win this game is more important than any other week this season. It cements yourself in college football, top 25, in the Big 12, and honestly, with fans too.
Yeah, I think that's 100% a fair point. And I think in this conversation, right, there's going to be a lot of people that talk about Sam Leavitt in this game because this is going to be the toughest test defensively that Arizona State will likely see all season. And certainly up to this point in the season, this is the biggest challenge that Arizona State's offense, Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham, are going to see. Up to this point, we know what Kyle Whittingham is, and we really do know what that defense is. So there is certainly going to be a lot on the line for ASU. Like we kind of discussed, the pressure is more on Utah.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see Sam Leavitt be tested in this way because you saw last week against Kansas what he was capable of, and then you kind of go back to that Texas Tech game, and you there was a lot to be desired still in terms of his development. But really, regardless, Kyle Whittingham spoke on Monday just about Sam Leavitt and his toughness. And really just about how Utah tried to go get Sam Leavitt in the transfer portal.
His athleticism, he's a true dual threat, as I mentioned earlier. He's doing a good job with the QB run game for him. He's still really young, and so his development is still, ahead of him. His efficiency rating right now is about 133 throwing the ball, so got some work to do there. But he's doing a really good job of doing what they're asking him to do, and they're doing a really good job of making sure the offense is tailored to his skill set. And he's, like I said, a very capable runner. He's a tough kid. We liked everything about him. We thought he could be a terrific safety as well, or linebacker. I mean, he's one of those QBs that could play 2 or 3 other spots, and he's so athletic, like a Chase Hansen type of a guy.
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, Sam Leavitt at linebacker
Or safety?
I could honestly, he's not wrong.
I'm pretty sure his brother's a safety in the NFL, or at least was.
Really?
Yeah. It's like when you have a coach of Kyle Whittingham's prominence talk about your quarterback that way, it should make ASU fans feel good about where they're at in the program. And in reality, again, what you found something?
He got an interception against the Bengals 3 days ago.
There you go. Yeah.
Good for Dallin Leavitt. Dallin Leavitt, 30 years old.
Mike Luke, $100 charity bet. What are we betting, Mike? He wants to make a bet that Marcus Arroyo is going to be the Arizona OC next season. Yeah, I'll bet you. I'll bet you $100 for charity. That
Can the charity be Erik Ruby's Food Foundation?
There's no way that's happening. Sorry, Mike. Sorry. It's not happening.
So that's a bet. That's an official bet. Mike,
I'll bet him.
Mike,
100%.
you
Mike,
have to
I'll
say
bet you.
officially yes.
$100 that Marcus Arroyo does not go to Arizona next year. 100%. I'd put more on it, but
oh, you hear that, Mike? He's calling you a little boy.
Yeah.
Is
that what's happening?
You hear that? He's
Is
calling
that
you a little
what's
boy.
happening?
Mike
Okay,
says, "Yeah,
there you
Mike.
go.
How high are you willing to go? How high are you willing to go?
I'm not reading that, Mike. I'm not reading that.
How much money are you willing to put on
I'll
this?
go 200, 250
God,
on
it's so much more fun to instigate than to be involved. Mike, 200. Do I hear 200 from you, Mike? Let me know in the
we have
chat.
an auction? Is that what we're doing?
I want to see if I can get you guys to pay like $6,000.
Okay.
Mike says deal. $200.
Too much for.
That's awesome. I love that. I love instigating and not being
I
involved.
can see that.
It's usually the other way around. This is amazing.
Look, we are going to get into some film here in a little
bit.
bit.
Do we have it ready, Kyle?
It might be time to get gross here
Not
in a little
yet.
bit, but we are going to do it on the other side of this break. I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, guys. Always remember, nobody does it better. You can visit any one of their 4 locations, including my personal favorite, Wild Horse Pass. Look, you guys can lounge at any of their amazing restaurants that they have. They've got upscale to approachable. And after you're done grubbing, why not go make some money on the floor, guys? Go all in with over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any of their amazing sports books. Also, be on the lookout. We're hosting Cardinals and Suns watch parties, so definitely stay tuned for info on how you guys can come hang out with the entire PHNX crew. Always remember, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Oh, my good friends, my family friends. Oh, they're back. Back like they never left.
That's facts.
The beautiful people over at Desert Financial Credit Union are here to absolutely take care of you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The same way that they've been taking care of me and my family through literal generations. If you're new around here, my grandparents were actually one of the first members of the original Desert Financial Credit Union, which was Desert Schools, back when it was just for educators. And since then, they have been taking care of my family and the only place that I have ever kept my money. They have financial experts that are committed to making their community better. As a part of the community that they've made better, I can attest to that. Whether it's mortgages, loans, credit card options, investment options, and more, or the Erik Ruby special, which hasn't happened in a while.
The Erik Ruby special.
Which is leaving your debit card at a bar and having to go get a new one. They'll do it with a smile on their face with locations across the valley. Plus, not many people do this. They're going to give you money, okay? They're going to give you money. So now's the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online. Get $200 plus your choice of 3 ASU Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started and get your 200.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Look.
I missed them.
You miss them?
I missed them.
I think maybe we could bring back the Erik Ruby special on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm actually a little worried about that.
Yeah, just
I'm a little worried about that.
Well,
I'm on a good streak, but
we can see what we could do. Guys, reminder, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Look, today we are going to focus in on that Arizona State offense going up against that Utah defense. Maybe some ways that the Sun Devils, Marcus Arroyo, Arizona State's offensive coordinator, can take care of business and exploit some things that Utah's defense maybe doesn't do as well as you would think. So, Erik, do you want to go ahead and
disclaimer before we get to football freak zone? If you're listening on audio, and we do absolutely love you, this is most likely the episode that you should be watching
live?
Yeah, there is a lot of film screenshots that we are going to be breaking down. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in your app, you're going to rate the show 5 stars, tell Anthony Totri that he's handsome, and then you're going to come over to YouTube, comment that Anthony Totri is handsome, and watch this and get the visual element. But with that disclaimer being said, okay, Coop, it's time. You are now entering Anthony Totri's Football Freak Zone.
I feel like my cartoon head needs an update.
Yeah,
I feel like it needs an update. I haven't seen that
beard.
thing. I haven't been clean shaven like that in a long time.
Well,
it's been a minute.
I have some bad news. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
You're going to have to shave. Get ready to learn
soon.
Clean face, buddy.
There you go. Hey, my face is clean. My face is clean as it is. Okay,
clean shaven.
Look, let's go ahead. Let's get to the tape. First game we are looking at is Utah going up against Oklahoma State. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. How did Utah get the job done? Partially because they were able to own the time of possession, but Oklahoma State did make some plays. So Utah here, you're going to see it kind of throughout. They are running a 4-2-5 look at this point. It's a little deceiving because they have 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. That is a linebacker showing blitz. Oklahoma State on the other side, they've got 3 wide, 2 on the bottom, 1 up top. They do have a running back offset to the left side of this formation. So as it stands right now, again, Utah, 5 down linemen, 5 offensive linemen for Oklahoma State, plus a running back in the backfield to pick up that other backer in case they do blitz. So that's what we see as it stands right now. Let's go ahead. Let's get to the next screenshot. So as you can see, that linebacker does indeed come. So there is 1 safety over the top here. Everybody else is in man coverage. Now, what we're going to focus in on the bottom, you'll see in the next couple of plays, is really where Arizona State can take advantage. Utah, not necessarily great in man coverage for a long period of time. Alan Bowman had plenty of time here. A great job by the running back. Can't really tell if that's Ollie Gordon or not. Doing a great job picking up that middle linebacker coming on the blitz. Just look at the protection that Alan Bowman has immediately. Anytime you have that level of protection, even if it adds a couple of seconds, you are bound to be in trouble if you are in man coverage.
You know, this is actually the first and only time Oklahoma State's offensive line has blocked anybody this season.
That's fair.
So it's kind of crazy you found the one play where they did that.
I know. It took a lot. Okay, it took a lot. Let's go ahead, get to the next one. Again, you can kind of see the protection here is absolutely masterful. Alan Bowman, in reality, can do whatever he wants from this standpoint. He has a clean pocket. There is nothing more beautiful if you are a quarterback, especially in this league. So let's go ahead. Let's get to the next side of this play. Like I said, what we're going to focus on were those 3 wideouts on the bottom. In the slot there, the guy that you need to pay attention to, number 80, Brennan Presley, one of the fastest guys in the Big 12. He's an absolute ridiculous wide receiver. I think his numbers would be better if he was playing with a different quarterback, to be completely honest with you.
A younger quarterback.
So we're in man coverage. You have a single high safety over the top. Let's go ahead. Let's run it again. Now, both of these wide receivers, number 17 and Presley, are going to be open here. Brennan Presley is running a little stick and nod route, right? So he's up, fakes like he is going to go out, and immediately cuts it back up. That safety, he has got his feet in cement. Look what happens here on the next play, or at least in the next image that we have for you. He is wide open, absolutely wide open. Bowman would connect with Presley here. Presley would break a tackle, score for Oklahoma State. In reality, number 17 is probably open as well. Utah, not phenomenal in man coverage, and especially if they can't get pressure, which they do have one guy that realistically gets pressure for Utah, we'll mention at the tail end of the show here. But that is definitely a way, Erik, that Arizona State can come out on top and expose this Utah defense.
It's going to be a big game for your wide receivers, especially for somebody like Jordyn Tyson, who did have such an up and down game. Last one where you don't win without him, and it's not that close without him either. So I'm really looking forward to see what Jordyn Tyson does. And obviously X had that touchdown grab, Shamama Tire. It does feel like the speed on this team is going to come in handy. Maybe somebody like a Melquan Stovall. Maybe it's a Melquan Stovall breakout game. Maybe Raleek. Maybe a little bit more as a wide receiver. I ain't making that bet again, I'll tell you that. But I think that this is going to actually end up just being the Jordyn Tyson game. And I think for the same reason that you saw with Brennan Presley, like having that type of speed and that type of skill, if your offensive line, of course, is able to protect, I think Jordyn Tyson's going to be able to get a lot of open field to make a play in. And I also don't think that Tyson to this point is probably somebody, I think defenses are definitely aware of him. They know he's wide receiver number 1. But the game plan is going to be revolving probably the first 2 ways around Cam Skattebo and Sam Leavitt's legs. To be honest with you.
No, that's 100% fair. And that kind of goes hand in hand with another thing that Utah doesn't do very well. They're not the best tackling team, which is kind of surprising for a Utah defense that preaches physicality. Sometimes they do have trouble wrapping up, and that leads me to another play. This one comes from the Arizona game that Utah obviously lost. And this is a different look, right? So they were running a 4-2-5 in the last play, right? This is different. They're running a 4-3. This is an older school defense. There's not a lot of college teams that run traditional 4-3s anymore. You would always like to get the additional defensive back. At least you see that more often than not. And you can already see, I believe this was a 2nd and 4 for Arizona. So they really can do whatever they want at this point. They are heavy here. Heavy. 12 personnel in the pistol. Again, 12 personnel. The 1 in the 12 is the single back that they have behind Fafita. The 2 on the tail end of that 12 is the 2 tight ends that they have on the bottom of this formation. Erik, doesn't take a rocket scientist. 12 personnel for the Wildcats. 2 tight ends on the bottom, on top of their tackle, on top of their guard. What's the strong side here?
Your right side.
Your right side, right? So you've got the 2 wide receivers at the top just to kind of take away your 2 defensive backs. Arizona does something here that is absolutely going to be pivotal for Arizona State on Friday. Let's go ahead. Let's cut to the next play here. So you have the 2 tight ends on the bottom, and they decide that they are going to be pulling. They're pulling at what I believe at this point is their center and their guard. Their left guard and their center immediately are going around. We've got down blocks across. Now you're going to see that linebacker on the top, right? The top of that formation there. You're not blocking him. You're not touching him. Okay. If he makes that play, he makes that play. You'll see that all the time.
It's a lot of room to make up.
You have to be a ridiculous linebacker to make that play. So at this point, Arizona has the men, right? You've got your 2 tight ends on the bottom. You've got your pulling guards, your center. You have the beef to the right side here. Mm-hmm. That's not even necessarily what about this play stands out. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's cut it one more time. 2 guys for Utah in position to make the tackle. Can't get it done. Both on the ground, literally on top of each other, because they missed the tackle there. Arizona gets a big first down on this play. Again, furthers the fact that Utah was unable to get off the field against Arizona. You got to be able to make those tackles in this conference when you have talented running backs. And we'll show you on the other side of this break why Arizona State can take advantage of specifically those 2 things that we just went over. Lapses in man coverage, and then also not being able to bring down the running back.
I will not be making a bet on drinking 10 neutrals if Raleek Brown gets 200 all-purpose yards, but I do love drinking some neutrals. I didn't have 10, I had 4. I had 4 on Saturday.
That's a good day.
That was a good day for sure. They were absolutely delicious. I finally got my hands on the orange flavored neutral. Oh, but you know what was like ridiculously good?
Tell me.
The strawberry lemonade neutral.
Ooh,
buddy.
that does sound good.
It was actually like very, very good. And it's good not just because, it's so sugary. No, it tastes real. It doesn't taste artificial. It's just vodka, seltzer, and real juice. And it goes perfectly with college football, NFL football, basketball season coming up. It goes perfectly with hanging out on the porch, going out for a night on the town, whatever you need to do. You just got to keep it tasty with neutral. They got different flavors: pineapple, watermelon, orange, black cherry, strawberry lemonade, regular lemonade, and more. So keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. A 2024 Anheuser-Busch neutral product, flavored vodka and carbonation out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Keep it tasty. Tempe. Love it. Guys, I also love our friends over at Circle K. Of course, the PHNX Sun Devils show today here in Studio K, presented by Circle K. Guys, join Inner Circle. It's their free membership program. It's super easy to download. Look, I tell you every day, you could literally download it, sign up, start saving money right now in the next 30 seconds. All you got to do, download the app, enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. And the next time you pull up to the pump, you're going to type in your phone number and boom, you're going to start saving money. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And then every single day after that, you guys can save 3 cents per gallon as well. Enjoy your member exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. Glenn in the chat, we have a better offensive line to swing block than a Utah. Plus, we have a better blocking tight end too. Absolutely. I think you're going to see a lot of Cameron Hartpool. I think you're going to see more Marcuston Douglas than you've seen to this point in the season. I think Arizona State is totally comfortable going toe-to-toe in the ground game against the Utah defense that, yes, they're physical, but they do have some issues tackling. I think that's going to set up Arizona State perfectly as well. For Utah to eventually load that box and then just have your wide receivers kind of go ham, because I think Arizona State has the talent to beat this Utah defense.
Don't get me too excited by saying it's a Marcuston Douglas game.
The baby Rhino is back.
I need 10 Rhino touchdowns
in 7 games
on Friday.
Nope,
just on Friday.
Just on Friday.
Let's just get it over with.
10.
Just give him the rock. Let Marcuston cook.
How many Marcuston Douglas touchdowns for you to drink 10 neutrals
in one game?
In one game,
3.
Okay, if Marcuston Douglas scores 3 touchdowns on Friday,
I will drink 10 neutrals on the show.
Is this going to be a weekly thing?
No, it really shouldn't.
It's going to be like the craziest offensive stats possible.
It really shouldn't, because I do enjoy my liver. And the big part of that neutral ad read was enjoy responsibly.
Yeah. 10
neutrals over the span of a post-game show is not endorsed by neutral, because it is not responsible.
That's fair.
But neither would be Marcuston Douglas 3 touchdowns in a singular game.
That'd be fun.
How many catches does he have through 5 games?
I think maybe one or two.
I think he has 1.
Maybe 1 or 2. Like, he does not have a lot.
Guess
We
what?
have not seen him a ton this season.
I guess who's going to find out.
I mean, you tell me. You're already
I'm
on
going to find out.
Detective Ruby over here? Do we have a new name?
Oh, that's actually
Detective Ruby?
better than dog legs.
Detective Old Dog Legs.
1 reception for 3 yards.
Not great. Not great.
I can't lie. I expected a little bit more out of him.
I mean, Shamal Matire is really taken
Matire's
up.
been really good.
He's taken up most of those catches here. But look, we just went over, if you're just coming in now to the chat, we went over Utah's defense and man coverage, can have some lapses with some creativity. Love an old-fashioned stick and nod play. It's actually my favorite play in NCAA. I absolutely destroy my brother every single time that we're playing that game with that stick and nod. And then, of course, being unable to tackle. And I'll tell you what, if there's one running back that already makes good defenses that are great at tackling,
who is it?
Look silly, it's Cam Skattebo.
Oh,
it is
that
100%
guy.
Cam Skattebo. So let's go ahead. Let's show you what Arizona State does really well, starting with the ground game. Or this one right here. This one is how Arizona State exploits man coverage in a similar way to how Oklahoma State was able to do it against that Utah defense. So if you remember, what did Oklahoma State and Alan Bowman have before we even talked about that route? They
Protection.
had great protection. And you're going to see that again from Arizona State. I absolutely love the play design here. Arizona State also in 12 personnel, which we saw from the Arizona Wildcats. They are in the pistol. You have Raleek Brown in the backfield. You have Shimon Matire kind of in the slot here, but he is still a tight end. And then, of course, you have Cameron Harpel, the traditional blocking tight end for Arizona State, on the left side of this formation, right to the left of your left tackle, Josh Atkins. So this is the Kansas game, right? So we can go ahead, run it one step forward, play action, right? Immediately you have those linebackers coming downhill. You have your wide receivers. Your wide receivers, they don't look like they're blocking. They don't look like this is a run play by any means. Let's go ahead and run it one more time. Look at that protection.
Oh, beautiful.
Leavitt has time to step into the throw. There is not realistically anyone defensively that is set to make a play here, okay? Those linebackers that were already creeping up, trying to go for run because that's what their eyes told them, they are immediately foot in the ground, backpedaling, trying to get back to where they are at, but it is not enough time. Sam Leavitt uncorks an absolute dime here. Xavier Guillory, all he needed was one step, and he was able to make a play. If you are throwing passes like this, and you have that one step in man coverage, that is all you need to beat this Utah defense in coverage. Arizona State, Erik, has already proven that they can do that.
Well, and we've seen Sam consistently get better with that deep ball as well, and that's going to be really key, his touch, his ability to continue to follow through and make sure that he's setting people up to make catches and not, overshooting, overthrowing, because that's like, you have great protection, but if it's not a good ball, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
right.
That's fair.
But I think Sam's at a point where I do trust him to make that play. I really do. So so I said Jordyn Tyson. It's a big game for Jordyn Tyson. It's a big game for X, and maybe somebody even like Melquan, they can get free and get busy too. It should be a lot of fun to see how Kenny and Arroyo are able to attack this, because like you mentioned, I think ASU has the facilities to exploit some of the weaker points in Utah's defense.
Yeah.
And that's exciting because with a smart coaching staff, more often than not, they do play well into what they need to do to win. And so if you can really find that niche and just get in there and expose that, protect your quarterback, give Cam the ball just to offset it, and then take some deep shots, there's a reality where Utah doesn't have the facilities to handle that. Now, it's still the 16th best team in the country. They have a good defense, so it's not easy.
They have a very physical defense.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's certainly not inexploitable, which I find exciting.
Well, I think you're going to set up Jordyn Tyson, Xavier Guillory, Sam Leavitt by doing what we're going to show you right now. And that is running the football just out physicaling, I guess, is what I'm looking for here. Being more physical. How about that? Being more physical,
I like out physical
than Utah here. So again, Arizona State back in 12 personnel. You can see the two tight ends on the bottom with Jordyn Tyson, and then I believe you have Xavier Guillory up at the top here. Now this is against Mississippi State, right? So Mississippi State late in the game was getting a lot of flack for running that three-man front. They have 3 down linemen, yes, but you could see their outside linebackers already on the edge here. It almost gives a 5-man front look. This is a packed box.
Yeah.
This is 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. You have Cameron Skattebo offset to the right here. This is a really interesting play for me. So it's not a traditional like an inside zone where he's going across the formation. Sam Leavitt's actually going to toss the football here. So let's go ahead. Let's move. They're tossing. Everybody here is down blocking, except Jordyn Tyson, who was on the bottom. He's cutting off the guy, sealing the edge. Now, look, Mississippi State here, those 2 defensive backs on the bottom, they don't look like they want anything to do with Shimon Matire here. They don't want to be anywhere near this play. So you could already start to see this crease start to develop because of the way that this play was designed and because of the physicality that Arizona State's personnel played with at this point in the game. So let's go ahead and move it one more frame here. Cam Skattebo, not quick enough to necessarily get into that crease. So what does Cam Skattebo do? Well, he does what Cam Skattebo does. He lowers his shoulder absolutely into the middle of this pile. This play should be dead here. Do you think this play ends here?
I'm going to guess no.
So 3rd and 1, let's go ahead and move it one more frame. You've already got one Mississippi State guy on the ground. Okay, what about this? It's a 1st down for Arizona State. This play, Erik, should probably be dead right here.
For most running backs, yes.
One more time. Look where Cam Skattebo is going. It takes
gets right
3 to 4 Mississippi State Bulldogs to take down Cam Skattebo. Again, you are going to need to wrap up if you are Utah, and if you are a Utah fan who's accustomed to seeing the Utes defense not necessarily be able to tackle guys with just one defender. Well, I'll tell you what, on Friday night, you are going to have a headache because Cam Skattebo makes an absolute living of running over 2 to 3 defenders before he actually goes down.
Yeah, and not to completely skirt around the Cam Skattebo side of things, but Glenn makes a good point. Says, out of all the teams Utah's played, is Leavitt the most dangerous with his legs? Utah plays a lot of man coverage. Safe to say Leavitt might get 100 yards rushing if defense is back turned.
Yeah.
Has their back turned. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is this game, I think, is going to come down to first as offensive weapons go Cam Skattebo, and then Sam Leavitt's legs, right? And if you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted, we just couldn't tackle Cam Skattebo, and now you got to chase Sam Leavitt, and then the next play, Sam Leavitt's dropping a dime down the field to X. It's a good recipe.
It is.
It's a good recipe.
I think it's a great recipe for Arizona State to succeed, but there are some defenders on that Utah defense that are definitely worth noting, and we're going to tell you about all 4 of them.
Whoa.
But we're going to do it on the other side of this break. It's time to tell you about our friends over at Chicken and Pickle. Guys, first and foremost, make sure you sign up for our free Cardinals tailgates at Chicken and Pickle. Spend $30 or more, and Chicken and Pickle is going to validate your parking. Valid on Cardinals home game days only. Now, look, I told you guys last week, Chicken and Pickle, great spot for a date. First date, second date, friend date, family date. It really doesn't.
Maybe you're treating
even
yourself.
Matter. Maybe you're treating yourself. Maybe you want to take
You
up
deserve it.
pickleball. Well, go check out Chicken and Pickle. Not just because the pickleball is elite. Not just because the food is amazing.
Well, then why?
Because the vibes. The vibes are amazing. We're all about vibes here at PHNX, and Chicken and Pickle. I'll tell you what, they match the vibes, they match the energy, and it is a ton of fun. Make sure you head to chickenandpickle.com. That is chickenandpickle.com to see all the fun you can have at their Glendale location.
Oh, you know, words that people use to describe me: rugged,
Yeah.
hardened,
Really?
tough.
Wow.
No. But that is what you can use to describe our good friends over at Rugged Road, because you don't want to kill the vibe if you're out at a party, if you're going camping, if you're out maybe on the lake and you're supposed to bring the drinks, you bring the drinks and they're just not cold anymore. The ice is melted, everything's watery, it just sucks. Not with Rugged Road, because Rugged Road has so many different features. Yeah, sure, it's lightweight design, it's durable, it's dependable. That's all great. It's floatable, it floats upright. And while all those things make a fantastic cooler, you say, how could it get better? Well, because it gets cooler. And that's because it will keep your contents cool for 7 days, if not longer.
7 days is wild.
So right now, get ready for your summer adventures with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com. Use code PHNX for 10% off your order. Leave that old, heavy cooler at home. Get yourself a better cooler for the new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion.
Sharon in the chat, does Oak State quarterback run? No, I don't believe Alan Bowman is a very dual threat quarterback.
Run to the employment line.
Sam Leavitt, though, we know Sam Leavitt is a dual threat quarterback. I'm interested to see. I think, again, Sam Leavitt is in for a test, but I don't think the pressure is on this Arizona State offense. I think it's going to be more on this Utah defense. I think it's Utah as a whole has the pressure here. And again, I think a lot of it, obviously, for fans is dependent on if Isaac Wilson plays over Cam Rising.
Would you like to know Alan Bowman's rushing stats for his career?
His career.
Now, okay.
He's played a lot of football.
It's bad. Let me do some quick math here, okay?
Okay. This is bad, huh?
If you had to guess how many total career rushing yards Alan Bowman has in his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons playing college football, what number would you say?
79.
Lower.
50.
Lower.
He's got lower. 30. No
Lower.
way, dude.
Lower.
10 yards?
11.
That's crazy.
So he had negative 26 in 2018.
He got sacked a lot, probably.
14 in 2019. 3 in 2020. 24 in 2023, and so far he is -4. So if you take the negatives, that's -30, and then you have between the 3 seasons after that, you have 41.
That's not ideal.
So no.
He's not a dual threat quarterback.
Long story short, Alan Bowman, not only does he not run, I think he barely walks.
Oh, that's fair. Dang, man.
He has
No, you're right. You're right.
-4 yards, and I know like sacks and stuff, I get it, but still.
Glenn, I was off by 10.
Yeah, Glenn guessing 21 is kind of insane.
That's fair. That's fair. Look, guys, we're going to tell you about some of those Utah defenders, but first, I want to let you know about PHNX Daily. We got our daily newsletter, guys,
First
that you
one
guys
out.
can definitely go sign up. Go do the thing, Eric.
Do it,
Get
please.
your date. Please.
Patrick works so hard on this, and it's so well done. It is like the perfect way to start your day as a sports fan, whether you're a diehard already or whether you're trying to get more into it. Maybe you're like, I want to know what's going on, but I just don't know where to go. There's nothing else like PHNX Daily. Just another wrinkle to the amazing coverage that we have over here. And Patrick is doing a really awesome job with that already. So make sure you go and you check that out now.
Super
today.
easy too. Go
Sign up.
phnx.com/newsletter. Super easy to sign up. And like you said, Pat does a phenomenal job getting that done. So definitely go check that out. Infamous front runner in the chat. He barely passes. Talking about Alan Bowman. That's what I was saying, man. Brendan Presley. Love to have him over at Arizona State. Marcus Arroyo, Kenny Dillingham could do some fun things in terms of creativity in that offense. But get into some of those Utah defenders that Arizona State fans should be aware of. Again, we've got 4 of them, and they've got some good names.
Yes.
There's some all-name guys here. Starting with Van Fillinger, defensive end for Utah.
I know these names, all-time Utah names.
Absolutely. Van Fillinger is a great one. Leads Utah and the Big 12 in sacks with 5.5. Also 5th in the nation. So it is certainly going to be a test for this Arizona State offensive line. But what did we see in some of those plays? If you're able to get some protection, you can exploit some of this Utah secondary. And it's going to be huge for these offensive tackles. Josh Atkins, whether you see Emmett Bully out there, and then, of course, Mad Max being able to contain Van.
Huge test for the offensive line. Huge test.
Huge test.
Because it's like we mentioned, it's the best, most physical defense that you've played so far. And in order for Sam Leavitt to be able to pick up big passing plays, he's going to need that extra couple of split seconds that this offensive line has to buy him. And Utah has the talent to make life really hard on Sam and on Scat. But more so on Sam.
You can't have this guy wrecking your place. You just can't.
I mean, listen, he's really good. He's going to win some snaps. Like, he's going to get some pressure on Sam. It's just maintaining it to the point where it's not constant and it's not like, oh, Sam just can't do anything out there.
Well, the nice thing is when you have a dual threat quarterback like Sam, it does eliminate a little bit of the heat that he is going to take. It's going to keep Van a little bit more honest in his rush lane because Sam can scurry. So you're definitely going to have to contain him. And for Arizona State's offensive line, again, we talked about the physicality that you're going to see from Utah's defensive line. It starts with Van Fillinger. But getting to the next Ute defender, Elijah Davis, 6'1", $182 corner. He's kind of a taller one, 6'1" at corner, leads that team in INTs this season. Also 10 solo tackles. I am really, really interested to see this Utah secondary go up against these Arizona State wide receivers, Erik.
Do you think it's because ASU should win that battle?
I think, again, this is going to be a closer... I mean, this secondary is far worse than what Kansas rolled out. Kobe Bryant and really good Mello Dotson are phenomenal. And, again, Sam Leavitt threw 4 touchdowns. So Jordyn, Tyson, Xavier, Guillory, I think have a slight advantage here. But when you have that advantage, you got to capitalize on it. And I think they can do so over Elijah Davis and company.
I would love to see a good, clean game from Jordyn because he had a good game. And I would love to see X continue to contribute. If he could be a threat, even just in the red zone, even just to get 6 points on the board, if he's not being thrown to for the entire possession down the field, having that counter with Jordyn will make life so much easier on not only Jordyn, but Sam and Scat and everybody, honestly, because Shamama Tyer's like the safety blanket.
Yeah.
Right? Jordyn Tyson's your big play, go-to receiver. X can be that Swiss Army knife, whatever you need him to do in between, and hopefully he could do that against Utah in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the linebackers for Utah don't really do anything for me here. It's that singular defensive end and Van Fillinger. The rest of their guys, noteworthy, are certainly in that secondary, not necessarily because they're superstars, but because of kind of their contributions to this defense thus far. So you have Elijah Davis, my personal favorite here, Smith Snowden.
I saw that name and I'm perfect.
Smith
Just perfect.
Snowden at corner. He leads Utah in pass breakups. Sometimes on wide receivers like White on Rice. This guy is certainly going to be a nuisance for this Arizona State offense. But as we've seen, Marcus Arroyo has ways of scheming some of these guys open. So I am really interested to see just how they do so against Smith Snowden and then Elijah Davis. And then Tal Johnson over at the safety position, another great name, leads Utah in total tackles with 29. He's no Ghost Rouser, but certainly is a presence both in the run game and then being able to make those tackles on wide receivers when they do come up with the ball.
So we agree Utah is the best defense overall that ASU's played this season, right?
I don't think it's close, yeah.
So that was my next question was, how significant of a margin are they better? Because we said Kansas secondary is better.
Kansas secondary is far better, but Kansas doesn't have any linebackers.
Right, but a far better individual like group like the secondary does mean something. Is Kansas the second best defense I've seen all season?
I would say so, but I'm not even saying that Utah is the best defense because Utah is the best defensive players. I'm saying it's because of the way that Utah does play defense. Mm-hmm. Like they play a brand of football where it's, hey, we're coming into your house and we are taking your lunch money. That's what Utah does. And they are going to beat you until you give up. Arizona State's offense, guess what?
What?
They turn and hand it to 4. He's not giving up his lunch money. Cam Skattebo
no, he's taking yours.
Exactly. Cam Skattebo is the type to put the bully in the locker.
Yeah. So bully comes up to Cam Skattebo, says, "Give me your lunch money." Cam goes, "You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this." He's like, "No, come on, give me your lunch money." Pushes him a little bit. Give me your lunch money, man. And you know what Cam does? The guy pushes him, just picks him up and just walks him across the cafeteria.
We're gonna find out on Friday night. That's the matchup you get: Cam Skattebo versus the Utah bully. Which are bullies really that tough in Utah, or are they just kind of like, I don't know?
I bet there's some pretty mean Utah bullies.
You think?
You look like you drink caffeine.
Is that what they do?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably I would say that's the meanest thing, but that's definitely not the meanest thing.
Glenn in the chat speaks volumes when all DBs play man coverage. I give the slight edge to Utah secondary over wide receiver because we don't have a sure wide receiver too. Going to need somebody to step up here for Arizona State to take the top off that Utah defense. It's going to be fun. And look, on tomorrow's show, we're going to be doing predictions. We've got Fact or Cat. We have got so much in store. The final show before we get to that showdown between Arizona State and Utah. So make sure you tap in tomorrow. That is Thursday at 1:30 because we are going to get the job done and tell you who we think is going to come out on top on Friday, guys. But that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devil Show. Make sure you guys hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you drop a 5-star review if you enjoyed the content. Give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. Follow this guy right here, Professor Rubis.
That's me.
At Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow Captain Redbeard at KCoop Sports on social, guys. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.